If you can't get your hands on a Kelly bag, or you simply don't want to spend the money before you get to try the style, this is honestly a great alternative. Hi guys, my name is G.P.S. and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be chatting about one of my absolute favorite more entry-level bags from Hermes, the Herbag Zip. I think this is probably one of the most underrated bags by Hermes because when it comes to their more starter bags, I think most people would reach for the Picatin or ask for the Garden Party or maybe even the Lindy, which I'm not really even going to comment on. But I think not many people would ask for her bag, even though I find that this bag features the most quintessentially Hermes characteristic out of all of their starter bags, and quite frankly has the most in common with the iconic Kelly bag. So I thought that today we would take a deep dive and talk about the pros, the cons, the sizing and pricing of the Herbag Zip. So if that sounds interesting to you, then please keep on watching. So the bag that we'll be looking at today is the Herbag Zip, which, if I remember correctly, launched around 2009-2010, and it was the new and improved version of the original Herbag, which was a line that had been around for ages. And Hermes had multiple bags in that collection. They had a really cute clutch bag, they had duffel bags and travel bags, and they even had Herbags that were multi-use. So you got different canvas bodies with your bag, and you could change it up, turn a bag into a backpack, turn it back into a tote bag. So it was a really fun collection, but Hermes decided to simplify things and make the bags a little bit more user-friendly. And in 2009 or 2010, they launched the Herbag Zip line, which we'll be looking at today. But what makes the Herbag the Herbag? So I'm sure that you have seen this style around. Obviously, if you love Hermes and if you love their bags, you will see the resemblance to the Kelly bag. Obviously, some of the features perhaps were inspired by the Kelly bag. For example, the trapezoid shape, the flap closure, the twist closure on the front, which technically this is not a twist closure, but it does sort of remind me of the Kelly twist closure, the top handle, as well as the shoulder strap. Perhaps we're all inspired by the iconic Kelly bag. But I do find that this is not just a cheap version of a Kelly bag. This is a piece that has earned its own place in the Hermes portfolio. And if you see this walking down the street, it might remind you of a Kelly bag, but not in kind of a cheap way. I think it's a beautiful piece, and let's talk about its different features. So as I mentioned, the Herbag has a trapezoid shape, and the body of the bag is always made of canvas. Now Hermes uses different types of canvas for each one of their bags, but the one that you'll see most often is this one, which is the Officier canvas. It's extremely sturdy, very durable. You don't have to worry about it ripping or not being strong enough to hold your essentials. It's honestly a really sturdy, strong piece of fabric that's also quite lightweight. So one of the biggest advantages of these bags compared to a leather bag is the fact that they're going to be so much more lightweight. And even though it's made of canvas, I actually quite like that. I think a lot of people would be like, why would you spend so much money on a canvas bag? But the whole point of buying a canvas bag is the fact that it's so much more user-friendly because of the fact that if anything happens to this, it's so much easier to repair or clean than it would be if it was made of leather. A little secret, I've had bubble teas burst in this bag. I put a couple of bubble teas in here and they all burst in here. And this entire bag was covered in bubble tea, and milk tea was dripping out of this bag. But as you guys can see, there aren't any marks on this, and it's because you can actually have this bag dry cleaned, which I'll promise to elaborate on later on. But yeah, the body of the bag is always made of canvas, and there are different types of canvas. A couple of seasons ago, Hermes came out with a canvas that had a wax coating on it. There are ones that have sort of a print on them. A couple of years ago, Hermes had I believe it was called the H vibration print, where they had a big H on the front. And then I want to say last season, they came out with a different print with a Herbag that had a horse on the front, which is called the Pegasus print, which I showed in a previous vlog, which I'll make sure to link up here. But yeah, there are different variations of the Herbag canvas, but it will always be canvas. The top of the bag is always made of some sort of leather, and I think more often than not, this part of the bag is going to be made of hunter cowhide, which again is a really sturdy leather. It's going to stand the test of time. You don't really have to worry about it getting marked or scratched because this is one of those leathers that is quite prone to getting scratched and marked, but Personally, when it comes to the Herbag, I'm not really bothered by it. Obviously, I want to make sure that it's in good condition and I want to take care of it. But it's not one of those bags that you really have to baby, because the more you're gonna use this bag, I feel like the more you'll enjoy this. And there's nothing really you can do about this leather. It will show signs of tear and wear, but that doesn't mean it's going to fall apart eventually. But you will be able to see the little creases and scratches, for example, where the strap bends, it will leave a mark. And also if you keep the lock on the back of the bag where you have a little hook, you can put the lock that comes with this bag on the back. You can see that it scratched up the leather quite badly. So if this happened to a Kelly or a Birkin of mine, I would be really upset. But this bag, I don't want to baby. I want to enjoy it and wear it because I know that this is never going to fall apart. This is always going to stay in good shape. It's just one of those workhorse bags that I really want to use and take advantage of and not worry about little minor scratches. But yeah, the top of the bag is always going to be made of leather. You'll get one shoulder strap, which is actually removable. It's not adjustable, but you can remove it if you don't want to have a shoulder strap on your bag. And then it also comes with a top handle. And this setup is true about every single Herbags. You will see the same construction and the same use of fabrics in every single one of the Herbags that we'll be talking about. Other than the backpack, because the backpack doesn't come with obviously a shoulder strap, but every other Herbag is going to have this very same structure and kind of built them. So the body of the bag is canvas, the top of the bag is leather. On the front you get this closure, which is called the cul-de-sac closure, which kind of reminds me of the Kelly twist closure, even though this doesn't twist. All you do is you pull these pieces out and that's how your bag opens up. And you can open up the bag like this, so you get this little closure here. And then on the back of the bag, where the name of the bag comes from, you have this zip pocket, which I think was really, really important for Hermes to add this, because this bag is not the easiest to go in and out of. Once you actually lock this bag up on the front and you put everything through the cul-de-sac closure, it's not the easiest thing to open and go in and out of. So it's amazing that they've added this huge pocket on the back, which I usually use to keep my phone in here. I usually put really everything that I need easy access to. So
usually a subway card, my phone, maybe a credit card or two, and keys, a hand sanitizer, or really
things that you know you'll need when you're in a hurry and you don't want to take your time by going in and out of your bag and opening it and closing it. So I love the fact that all of the Herbags do come with a zip pocket on the back. And then you also get another additional little pouch with this bag. On the inside, all Herbags come with this little pouch that's actually attached to the bag. So if you ever want to wear this bag open, which obviously you can, but it's going to open up like this in the front, you can certainly use it open. And then you can use this pouch to keep all of your things that you're worried about falling out or anyone reaching into your bag. You can keep all of your necessities in here, so your wallets, your personal items, because this is attached to the bag and you can remove it, but it's not the easiest thing. You do also get a clochette with this bag, which I can show you here. You do get an additional clochette, which houses the keys for the lock, because you do get a lock with this bag. So here's the clochette with the keys inside. And then you also get a lock, which you can actually attach once your bag is closed up like this. One of these actually has a hole on it. I'm not sure if you can see it here, but this one does have a hole over here. And you can put the lock that comes with the bag through here, and then that means that you will not be able to open the bag, and you can keep the clochette safe with you, or you can always put it on the bag if you decide to do so. And if you don't want to keep the lock on here, or if you don't want to lock the bag, as I mentioned, there's a little hook on the back that you can attach the lock to and keep it safe there. Personally, I did use the lock for a little while on the back of the bag, but because I realized how badly it scratches the leather, I decided to just put a rodeo on the back of the bag on one of these. So I still have a piece of decoration on there, but the lock is not going to leave this really bad mark behind. And in case you're looking for the Hermes stamp, which is in your Birkins and Kellys, that is on the back of the bag right underneath the hook. But if you look at all the marking and all the scratching on the back, if you can see it, that should give you an idea of how bad it is to keep your locks on your Hermes bags, because no matter what leather you have, if you keep the lock on the front of your bag or on the back of your bag for a longer period of time, it will leave a mark. And I think Hermes calls it the smile mark, the smiley face mark, because when the log goes back and forth for a longer period of time, it does leave this kind of smiley face mark, which might sound cute, but it's not cute when you're trying to get rid of it. Now, one thing that I mentioned earlier is that this bag can be completely taken apart, which I personally love about this bag, because the fact that you can take it apart means that you can customize it. You can take off the shoulder strap if you want to, you can take off the top handles, you can take off the flap, which means that you will probably not be able to use it as a bag. But if you take off all these leather pieces, it means that this bag can be dry cleaned because it's made of canvas. So obviously, due to the fact that the bag is made of canvas, it is a little bit more prone to picking up dust, picking up any kind of moisture, or if you have water, or as I mentioned, bubble tea in my bag and that spills, obviously this will soak up all of those liquids. But because this bag can be deassembled, it means that you can actually just drop off this fabric body of the bag at dry cleaner. You can obviously take it to Hermes, which is what's usually recommended, but to have this bag serviced, it would be around $350, which is quite expensive. So what I usually do a couple times a year when I wear this bag is I usually just take it apart, wipe the leather off with just a microfiber cloth. I don't use any kind of polish or anything on the leather. And then I take this and just drop off the fabric part at a dry cleaner, and they usually just clean it for me perfectly for about $15 to $20. And I've honestly never had any issues with it. And as you guys can see, this was dry cleaned not too long ago, and the bag pretty much looks brand new. And after my little bubble tea incident, this part of the bag was covered in milk tea, and it dried down and it looked honestly horrific, and I was really nervous that it will not come out. But after I dropped it off at the dry cleaner, it came back looking brand new. So I could not be happier about the fact that this bag is very user-friendly because of the fact that it's made of canvas. And now that we know everything about the structure of the Herbag, let's quickly touch on the different styles of Herbags that you can pick up from an Hermes boutique. So as I mentioned, this one, the one that I have here, is in size 39, which is the larger size. Not the largest, but the larger size. And there is a smaller size, which is 31 centimeters. It's a Herbag that I owned in the past, but I ended up giving it away because it didn't fit a computer. And I specifically wanted this bag to take to school or to take to work. And the 31 centimeter one doesn't actually fit a 13-inch MacBook. You can slide it in there, but you will not be able to close the bag. And I didn't feel that the bag was secure enough with my computer hanging out of it. So I ended up giving that bag away, and I picked up the bag in size 39. But the 31 centimeter one is available in Cellier and Retorn. So you can pick it up with a more structured shape, or you can pick it up with a more slouchy shape. And the Retorn, being the more slouchy one, is a more recent release. When it comes to hardware, the Herbag was originally available with palladium, but I think in the recent past, Hermes has been releasing it with gold hardware as well. And then there's also a black version, which is extremely limited, where the black hardware actually has an enamel piece, which makes the front of the cul-de-sac closure black. And then the Hermes Paris writing is actually white inside the enamel. So that's also a fun piece to pick up. But yeah, the 31 is the smallest one, which is a little bit smaller than this. This is size 39, which is available again in Cellier and Retorn, and this is the Cellier version. Size 31 starts at about $2,600, so it's under $3,000. Whereas the larger version, if I remember correctly, this was, I think it was around $2,800, $2,850, somewhere around there. So it's about $250 more expensive than the smaller version. And quite recently, Hermes has come out with a backpack version of the Herbag, which I think is a lot of fun. I don't think it's the most flattering shape for a backpack, especially because of the size, because the backpack version does measure 29 centimeters. So I think it's a little bit too big to be worn as a backpack, especially if you're more petite. I think you would find it a little bit overwhelming, but it is available in a backpack version for around $3,500. And then the largest Herbag that's currently available is the cabin size, which I think measures about 50 centimeters, so it's quite a bit larger than any of the other Herbags out there. And that one retails for $3,700. I think it's $3,775. So you do have plenty of options when it comes to the Herbag. and they retail between $2,600 and it goes up all the way to $3,700, $3,800 for the largest size of the Herbag. But that's usually the price that you should be expecting to pay when you pick up this bag from the boutique. Although I have to say that the Herbag is one of those bags that I think is not too bad to pick up from the pre-loved market. Usually Fashionphile has quite a few of them at a much better price. So in case you're interested in a Herbag, I think Fashionphile is definitely a good place to look for a version that's a little bit more used, because as I mentioned, you don't really have to worry about the canvas, the body of the bag, which is the biggest part, showing the signs of aging. You can always get that dry cleaned, and the leather part is going to get scratched no matter what. So this might be a good bag to look at to pick up on the pre-loved market, but you should always do your own research. If you don't feel comfortable picking up something from the pre-loved market and you don't want to do your own research and make sure that you pick up an authentic piece, the best way is always to pick it up from the boutique. And these are usually readily available, or they have been for the past couple of seasons at least. I remember when I was looking for this in size 39, they were actually quite hard to come by in black on black, like the one that I wanted. Because for a couple of years, I want to say around like 2016, 2017, these bags, I don't think Hermes was really focusing on them, but in 2019, they definitely put the focus back on the Herbags. And for some reason, ever since 2019, they have been quite readily available. You can even pick them up sometimes online. You can get them from the boutique. And this piece was actually ordered for me from the Podium, which is the Hermes buying event. I told my store director that I had been looking for this bag for a while. And she told me that the reason why they probably never had it, or most boutiques don't usually carry this, is because the 39 size is not the most popular one. Obviously, more people tend to go for the 31 size. So she said that next time she goes to Paris for the buying event, she'll order one for me. And I think she ended up ordering two. One of them came to me, and then another one went to another customer at my home store. And that's how I got my hands on this bag. But as I mentioned, since 2019, they have definitely been a little bit easier to come by. So I don't think that would be necessary for you to actually request this from a store director. I think you should be able to find these at most stores, and if not, you can always ask them to keep an eye out for one of these bags for you, because they should definitely be around. Let's move on to the pros and cons of this bag, because there are things that I love about this bag and there are things that I think they could definitely improve upon. But one of the things that I love most about this bag is the fact that it doesn't have to be babied. You can really stuff this, you don't have to worry about it getting stretched. You don't have to worry about the leather ever damaging, because it really, really holds up well. So I really enjoy the fact that I don't have to worry about this bag. Yes, the leather will get a little bit scratched, it will get a little bit marked, but I know that this leather is known for that. I know that I don't have to worry about it ever falling apart, because I know it's not only really well put together, but every single element on this bag is made to stand the test of time. Another thing that I really enjoy about this is that they are quite a sophisticated bag, but at the same time you can style it with many different outfits. This can become your everyday bag that you take to the office. This can be your travel bag. You can even wear it to more formal events, especially if you get the smaller one. So really the sky is the limit with this bag, and you can style it in so many different ways. And not to mention the fact that for an Hermes bag, this is really well priced. Most of the Herbags you can pick up for under $3,000. Which is, don't get me wrong, is a lot of money, but for an Hermes bag, it's definitely not unheard of to spend at least $3,000 on a bag. So I do really enjoy all of those. And the fact that it does resemble a Kelly bag. So if for some reason you do not want to spend the money on an Hermes Kelly bag, or you cannot get your hands on one, or you want to get a taste of what an Hermes Kelly bag is like, this is going to give you an idea of what it's like having a Kelly bag, because the way you use it and interact with it is quite similar to a Kelly bag. But let's quickly talk about and touch on the cons, because just like everything out there, there are some downsides to this bag. One of them being is the choice of leather. I definitely see why some people might opt for a different bag, because this leather, as I mentioned, is going to get scratched, it's going to get marked. That's just simply what happens with this. It's not something that can be avoided. It's not even really something that can be repaired. You have to get used to it, and you have to love it for what it is. And another feedback that I actually got from my SA after I picked up this bag and I told her how much I enjoyed it, what happens to the Herbag and to a lot of people who have the Herbag is the bottom of the bag starts sagging because there isn't any sort of padding at the bottom of the bag. but I have a trick to avoid that, which is to use an insert on the inside of the bag. And while there aren't many brands out there who create inserts for the Herbag, what I found is that the insert that I have for my Birkin 35 from 7RP fits in my Herbag 39 absolutely perfectly. And it not only helps to keep the structure of my bag, but it also keeps anything from weighing down the bottom of the bag and altering the shape. So I have absolutely loved using my 7RP insert in my Herbag. And while it's not technically made for a Herbag, the size 35 for a Birkin works perfectly in the Herbag. It doesn't alter the shape, it doesn't damage or stretch out the canvas in any shape or form. So I've been really loving this. And while this video is not actually sponsored by 7RP, if you have been watching my channel, you know that I have been working on an insert video. I've been working on reviewing a bunch of different inserts for Hermes bags. And for that video, 7RP was actually kind enough to give me a gift code to share with you guys. And while that video is still in the making, I haven't actually published that video yet. That code is already active, so if this inspired you to pick up a 7RP insert and give them a try, I do have a discount code for you guys. If you want to try a 7RP insert and pick up one of their bag inserts, which I highly recommend, I have talked about them before, you can use the code IamGPS30 for 30 euros off of one insert. Or if you want to pick up 2 inserts from them for any one of your bags, it works on any of their inserts on their website. They make inserts for Kellys, Birkins, Evelyns, and I think the Dior book totes. If you want to pick up 2 inserts, you can use the code IamGPS70, which is going to get you 70 euros off of 2 inserts. So essentially 35 euros off of each, which I think is a great deal. So in case this inspired you to pick up a 7RP insert, you can definitely use those codes. I'll make sure to leave them in the info box down below. Or you can always wait for my in-depth review to make up your mind whether the 7RP inserts are worth your money. But yeah, I have been really enjoying this not only in my Birkins, but also in my Herbag. So this has been my little trick to stop the bag from sagging, because that can unfortunately happen considering that the bag is made of canvas. It doesn't have any padding at the bottom. You cannot really avoid that, but this trick really does work wonders. But other than these 2 downsides, the only other thing that I could mention is the fact that going in and out of this bag is not the easiest thing, but exactly because of that, you do get the pocket on the back, which makes things easier. So if you don't want to struggle with going in and out of the bag all the time and closing it and opening it, I would recommend that you keep all of the things that you'll need and you'll need easy access to on the back of the bag, because this pocket is actually quite large. It pretty much goes the entire width of the bag, or length. Is it the width or the length? Well, anyway, it goes through the entire bag, so it's really, really spacious and fits your phone, your card holders, your wallet, your keys, or whatever you know that you'll need easy access to. You can just store in there. And I think this is it, guys. This completes my detailed video on the Herbag. As you guys can tell, I absolutely love this bag and would highly recommend it. I think it's a fantastic starter bag from Hermes. In case you want to get an idea of what it's like owning an Hermes bag, or if you're looking for a more casual bag from Hermes because you don't feel like you can take advantage of a Kelly or a Birkin, I think this is a really, really good place to start. I have really used this bag to bits for the past couple of years and it's still in great condition, purely because of the fact that you can take it apart and you can have it dry cleaned. Obviously do it at your own discretion and make sure you do your research in terms of where you have it dry cleaned, because if something happens to it, Hermes will not be able to fix it. So definitely do your own research, but you obviously have the option to take it back to Hermes to have it repaired. It's going to be a little bit more expensive, but I've had it dry cleaned a couple of times and I've only ever had incredible results. So yeah, I love the fact that it's super easy to clean, especially nowadays considering how important personal hygiene has become. I think it's a great time to consider a bag that is so easy to clean. So yeah, I personally love this bag, but I would love to hear your thoughts. What do you think about the Herbag? Do you own this bag? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this video, then please make sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!